thanks to Joseph and MJ for that powerful music this morning. Good morning. It's so wonderful to see all of you here this morning. My name is Sue Ronke, and I'm delighted to be your celebration associate this morning. May we gather today to nurture our connections, seek inspiration, and embrace change. Practicing resistance is our theme for January. What changes in our world do you seek to resist in the coming year? And what might you create in its place, their place? We have many activities this week. Please read the announcements in your order of service or check the sanctuary screens to learn more. Now I invite board members Mike Daniels and Megan McCormick, who have an announcement.
So I'll be quick, and you can hear me probably without the microphone.
But the people online cannot.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Sorry. So I just wanted to let you know that we're going to try to start a new process for information gathering for the board. We did it once, and it was but now we're going to really get into it and dig deeper. So we are out at a board table today. Fred and myself will staff today, and then we'll continue on as we go down the road. So I hope you'll stop by, say hello, and let us know what you think. Thank you.
Another new thing that we're doing as a board is we're going to try out today a new feedback process that we developed, see how it works. So we sometimes get feedback from you guys, but it has to come in the form of an email, and people are confused about who do I send this to and where does it go and what happens to that feedback. So we're starting a process where you can proactively give us positive or helpful, constructive feedback. We would love to hear all of it, and not just for the board, but for just anything that you're experiencing, seeing, feeling here, and any thoughts that you have about ways that we can grow, ways that we can better meet your needs, and any way you might want to help us do that. So please also stop by the board table today. There'll be a computer set up where you can fill out the feedback form, and there's also a QR code that you can scan onto your own device and do that later. Thanks.
If you're new or visiting for the first time, I invite you to stop by the welcome table and the parlor table after you go see the boards. And these are located through these doors. It's where we usually have coffee, snacks, and conversation after the service. And in the spirit of intentionally gathering in community, please take a moment and switch your cell phones to silent mode. Before we light our chalice, let's all take a moment to greet those around us. Today's chalice will be lit by Don and Sue Rakow. Please join me in saying the chalice lighting words. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action.
morning. I've had a week to think about these opening words, and I hope I can give them with the solemnity and emphasis that they deserve. The opening words are from Fran Corton. We are entering a time of testing. Much that we hold dear appears under threat. We will be asked in new and sometimes frightening ways, what do we stand for? What do we care about enough to risk ridicule, funding, a job, our lives? Many of us have not had to face such choices before. Sure, we act for what we believe in. We march, we write letters to the editor, we call our elected officials, we speak up at council meetings, we join committees, we donate, but at what risk? Often very little. That may change.
I invite us to rise in body or spirit to sing hymn 318 in your great hymnal.
Good morning, everybody. I am the Director of Religious Exploration here at the First Unitarian Church. My name is Madeline, and you can find me usually wandering around upstairs, probably cleaning something up if you have any questions. At this time, I would like to invite anyone who is young or feeling young at heart today to join me on the stage for a time of wonder. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Hey, Anborn. Anborn. Psst. Anborn. Do you want to open up the Wonder Box?
It's unfair. You didn't even ask.
I didn't ask, I know. It's Anborn's turn. Look at him. He's so excited. Anborn, here, open it up. What's in there?
Pincer things and measuring tape and
Pincher things
screwdriver
and measuring tape
goggles.
and a screwdriver and goggles. What are these items?
Oh, they're pliers?
Files? I love that you guys are right to the exact
Measuring tape.
name for them.
Screwdriver.
There's
that I
things
fix
for building things. Or maybe things for fixing things. They're tools. I turned our Wonder Box into a toolbox. I couldn't find an actual toolbox. I did look. I don't have my own. I think there are tools at my house somewhere, but that's not my job. So what do we use tools for? We build things and we fix things. I love it. And sometimes we take them apart, especially when we need to take them apart to fix them, right? So all of these tools are going to represent the tools that we have to manage our own selves. So our energetic bodies, but also our emotional bodies. So we all have tools in our own individual toolboxes that you might not be able to see, like the toolbox in my house. And can you guys tell me some of those tools, what some of those tools might be? Like, what do you do if you are feeling like so angry that you want to yell, but like probably shouldn't yell at somebody? What do you do?
We whack the pillow and I scream into it.
You yell into a pillow. I love that.
We whack something with a hammer.
Maybe whacking something with maybe not a hammer.
Something with a hammer. Or take something
Build
apart.
something. Ooh, I like that. Maybe we're building things if we're having intense emotions.
Are we taking something apart?
Or you might take something apart.
Are we taking something
You like to watch Star Wars? I also like to watch Star Wars. Are there any? I do.
I binge watch Star
Star Wars. That's what I'm taking away from this. Star Wars. Yes.
What's like Doctor Who or
Doctor Who. Yeah, maybe some superhero movies. Wait. I don't know if we're allowed to ask this at the podium, but Marvel or DC? Marvel. What? I love that.
Sometimes they'll play Kirby in the Forgotten Land.
I have no idea what that is, but it sounds like a lot of
video
fun.
game.
Oh. Okay. So what are some other tools? Maybe we can exercise.
It's so good.
Maybe we can go outside. Maybe we can breathe a lot. It is really cold, but maybe bundle up first and then go outside. Maybe you have like a playlist of songs that just make you feel better immediately as soon as you turn it on. Maybe you sing. How many of us sing? Lots of hands. We can go back to our vagal nerve that we talked about like months ago and how singing strengthens our vagal nerve. That's a tool. So we named lots of tools, which is amazing because we have so many options. And sometimes when I'm feeling a type of way and I don't know how to make myself feel better, I just like to try all the tools until something works. It's a good option there. It's very long. Great wingspan that you have there. So one of the reasons why it's important to think about all these tools living in our toolboxes is because sometimes when you try all of them, none of them work. And then what? Then we have to pull from different sources. Maybe you ask a friend, phone a friend, be like, hey, I'm gonna lose my mind, I'm gonna scream a little. What should I do? If I were the friend, I'd be like, go in the woods and scream, obviously.
Scream into your pillow.
Scream into your pillow, exactly. So we all have all of these tools, and when we run out of tools or we need a tool that we don't have in our toolbox, we can always go to our friends or our community to find those tools.
You could also scream into a giant stuffed animal.
Lots of screaming. I do yelling yoga every Saturday for kids, just so you know, putting that out there.
Sometimes I dance in my room, and then I dance in my room until I feel better.
And then you dance and dance until you feel better. All right, can you all put the tools back in the toolbox or Wonder Box? I do need helpers, of course, because we're going to have to light our chalice. Well, not our chalice, our lantern. Gwen, would you like to help today with the fire? Okay, come on over. If I can even open it. Here we go. Okay, remember, light it from the chalice, the community chalice. We light this chalice to represent the RE is just an extension of this great and beautiful community. Well done. All right, friends. If you are a parent or a caregiver who has not yet signed their child out for RE, you can follow us into the parlor. We are going to sing our children out with Where You Go, which can be found in your gray hymnal and sometimes on the screens. Camborne. Oh no.
Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. You're divine, my divine.
Good morning. In the spirit of reverence, love, and care, we take time now to bear witness to some of the joys and sorrows of our community, to share those events that call for our prayers and support, our praise and celebration. From Dave Pineda? Sorry, I don't get your name right. From my friend Gretchen and her stepdad Steve, who are facing the loss of her mother Saturday morning. From Valerie Graves, please hold Lloyd Graves and family in your hearts. His mom, Rosemary Graves, has pneumonia and is in the ICU. She is off the ventilator and alert. Hope is for independent living, but she needs to work hard to get there. Please wish her the best and lots of strength. And from Magdalene Lindeberg, sending all my love and energy to my family in St. Paul and Minneapolis. For those we are holding in our thoughts, in our hearts, and perhaps in our prayers, into this community, into this space of healing and hope, let us call these names out loud or speak them in our hearts right now. We extend loving kindness to all in our world. Let us not forget to extend loving kindness to ourselves. Today, tomorrow, and beyond, let our hands be outstretched in kindness, and let us keep showing up to our lives and each other with an open heart, no matter what. Love and courage to us all. Blessed be, and amen. Good morning, everyone. I'm honored this morning to share with you Jane Goodall's last words to us. In the place where I am now, I look back over my life. I look back at the world I've left behind. What message do I want to leave? I want to make sure that you all understand that each and every one of us has a role to play. You may not know it, you may not find it, but your life matters. You are the reason You are here for a reason. And I just hope that that reason will become apparent as you live through your life. I want you to know whether or not you find that role that you're supposed to play, your life matters. And that every single day you live, you make a difference in the world. And you get to choose the difference that you make. I want you to understand that we are part of the natural world. And even today, when the planet is dark, there is still hope. Don't lose hope. If you lose hope, you become apathetic and do nothing. And if you want to save what is still beautiful in this world, if you want to save the planet for future generations, your grandchildren, their grandchildren, then think about the actions you take every day. Because multiplied a million, a billion times, even small actions will make great change.
Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us in prison. Circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned. Circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned. Circle for release, circle for
Each week, we take an offering to sustain the important ministries and programs of this congregation and its presence in Ithaca. Giving to the plate is important. It's a symbol of our gratitude for this service and our ongoing commitment to support the work of this church. For those watching remotely, follow these instructions on the screen. For those attending in person, our ushers will pass the plate. I have the privilege of singing tenor with Joseph in choir. Please join me in saying the offertory words. May these gifts bring about connection, inspiration, and engagement within these walls and beyond.
Good morning, everyone. David Corton is an author, a philosopher, and a educator. And he was giving a speech out in Washington State about 6 months ago, and he starts like this. The old story has dominated Western culture since the scientific revolution, and it still permeates our institution and our minds. It is a story that tells us matter is the only reality. Life is an accidental outcome of material complexity, and consciousness is merely an illusion. In the end, it leaves us with no higher purpose beyond material gratification, a futile attempt to distract ourselves from the terrible loneliness of conscious beings in a dead, uncaring universe. And we can see the consequences of living by such a story all around us. We have created societies that worship money and markets as if they were gods, while treating people and nature as disposable. We celebrate economic growth and wealth accumulation by a few, as Earth's living organisms fray under the strain. But there is a key here. The old story is just that, a story. We now know that the universe, far from being a random assembly of lifeless parts, is a deeply interconnected web of relationships. Evolution is not a simple tale of ruthless competition, but cooperation and symbiosis are fundamentals to life's unfolding on Earth. Perhaps most importantly, humans are not separate from nature, nor are we exempt from nature's law. We are part of Earth's living community, thoroughly dependent on the health and well-being of the whole. Then little wonder that a culture based on the old story engenders loneliness and consumption and competition, leaving a void where there should be a sense of belonging. We are not lonely cogs in a meaningless machine. We are participants in a vibrant, sacred, and continuously unfolding community of life. Today, most of us are feeling powerless, yet we can exert significant power in our lives through our food choices, which impact our environment, our economy, our health, and our community. We each interact with food several times a day. Where it comes from, how it's produced, how it's prepared, and how we eat it are all choices that can convey our values and our choices for the world we live in. Granted, food choices cannot alter the global conflicts or end state-sponsored thuggery in U.S. cities, but it will impact you, your family, and can improve our local economy, environment, and community. So it is my honor to be with you this morning. I'm grateful for this opportunity to speak on a topic which I am very passionate about. And most of all, I'm grateful to all of you for making the time and making this a priority in your lives today. I am inspired by Fran Corton's call to resistance. And David Corton, her husband's challenging us to rethink our worth and our role. And Jane Goodall reminding us that we do have a role and to find it, and that our actions matter. So I've been feeling quite vulnerable this past year with regards to events happening in our country and abroad. And when I hoped things wouldn't get worse, that hope has been dashed by the events of the first few weeks of 2026. It feels like we're in an epic battle for control over how the future unfolds. It's against this backdrop that I have a message of hope for gaining some control over our lives and our future. That begins with a daily activity, our food choices. I plan to draw connections of how food choices shape the world that's closest to us. I was born into a family that focused on food all day long. It was a small dairy farm where I spent my childhood in the 50s and 60s. In addition to caring for and milking our cows, we produced and preserved 80% of the food that we consumed. Our meals were prepared from those whole foods. Although we had little discretionary cash and did without, we never felt poor because we always had ample quality food. So when Rita and I moved to Rosebar Farm 35 years ago, we immediately set up gardens and orchards and took control over our food supply. I guess for me, it's hard to break that food-focused culture I was born into. In 2017, I joined a group of like-minded community activists called the Food Policy Council, who recognized that our food system had been hijacked by agribusiness corporations. In 2019, we were able to get enough traction to convince the Tompkins County Legislature and the Community Foundation of Tompkins County to provide resources for us to create the first ever Tompkins County Food System Plan, which was released in 2022. And one can read this plan, and I encourage you to do so by going to Tompkins Food Future website. The goal of this plan is to create a local, resilient, equitable, and healthy food system for humans and the planet. My work on this food system plan is the source of my deeper understanding for how our food system's interconnection with our economy, environment, social justice, and interpersonal relationships, and the health of people and the planet. This morning, I will share my understanding with the hope of raising this community's awareness of the power of food choices to shape our future. Like air and water, food is a requirement of life. We interact with food several times a day. Most of us live in a world where we have choices of where the food comes from, how it's produced, how it's prepared, and how we eat it. And these choices are influenced by price, availability at that moment, and a desire, when living in this fast-paced world, for convenience. So let's start with food production. We all consume food that starts from plants. We consume plants directly, or they are eaten by domesticated animals from which we eat their products like milk, eggs, and meat. So take a moment right now and think in your mind's eye of food production. I suspect there are two different pictures that come to mind. One is of the Midwest, with endless miles of corn and soybean and wheat, and not a weed in sight. And the other is a local farm, a New England farm, small, pastoral, integrated farm of a few animals, gardens, orchard, of course, dandelions and goldenrod. And these two pictures are competing food production philosophies. What we call conventional farming techniques were not what our ancestors evolved with, and not practiced until the middle of the 20th century, when after World War II, herbicides, pesticides, and heavy equipment were unleashed onto our farmland. This new industrial philosophy of thinking that a farm's plants and animals are only outputs also changed the way farmers thought about the food system. It was about maximizing production for visually pleasing products at the lowest cost without any regard for nutrition. We now know the true costs of conventional farming practices are externalized into the environment with polluted surface water, soil, and plants. Industrial techniques are often used for the handling of farm animals as well, both their confined living conditions and feeding them herbicide and pesticide-laden foliage. So we have choices, though. Food produced organically is also available to us. Organic producers have a starkly different philosophy of their role. They are stewards of the land and their produce. Organic farming techniques honor and respect the value and worth of plants and animals. Organic techniques do not exploit the earth, but work in concert with the environment. Organic growers' holistic philosophy creates healthy, nutritious food products. For us, there are many organic growers in our region. By making it your preference to buy organic foods, in addition to helping the environment, you can positively affect our local economy. Tompkins Food Future learned that 90% of the food consumed in Tompkins County is not produced regionally. And when we choose to spend our money locally, we create more demand for those products, which causes retailers, especially locally owned stores, to stock these products. Local product demand stimulates more local organic farmers with their associated environmental and economic and health benefits, and our money stays in our community, rather than going to an industrialized food producer. So it's important to internalize that our purchasing decisions shape our world. Also, choosing locally produced food ensures our food system's resilience when war, famine, pandemic, and weather events disrupt the global food system. Another benefit of locally produced foods is our reduced exposure to plastics. Food coming a short distance from the farm to our table doesn't need plastic to protect us, unlike non-regional food needing to make the average of a 1,500-mile transit to our table. Plastics burden our environment by clogging our oceans and surface water, and plastics don't break down. They break up into smaller and smaller pieces. So we find microplastics are in the plants and meat we eat, and in our bodies as well. With our purchasing choices, we can begin the uphill battle of removing plastic from our personal food system. So I suspect many of you have read Paul Hawkins' book, Drawdown, or at least heard of it. The global food system annually produces 1/3 of the annual greenhouse gas emissions. In his list of 80 actions to reduce carbon in the atmosphere, 17 of the 80 are related to the food system. And Drawdown identifies 4 food system actions within the top 15% of the most effective for greenhouse gas reduction. Number 3, eat a plant-rich diet, which means reducing beef input. Number 4, reduce food waste. 35% of the food grown is not consumed. Number 9, silvopasture grazing animals. And number 11, use regenerative agriculture, which incidentally is the largest carbon sequestration opportunity of all 80. We can reduce greenhouse gas by making plant-based whole foods a greater part of our diet, buying foods from organic and regenerative producers, and reducing food waste. And we can eat meat. And when we choose meat, choose it from organic farms or farms that practice silvopasturing, which is intentionally integrating trees, pasture, and livestock on the same land for mutual benefit. There is also a battle for control of the food system, which most of us are just beginning to become aware of. It's been waged by the largest corporations like Nestle and Coke since the 1970s. They aim to capture a greater share of our now greater than $8 trillion food market by producing and selling cheap substitutes disguised as food, but known as ultra-processed food. Ultra-processed foods are constructed mostly from plants, but also some from animal products that have been reduced to their basic molecular constituents, then modified and reassembled into highly hyper-palatable food shapes and textures, which without color, sweetening, and flavor additives would not be recognized to one's brain or one's tongue as food. Processes and ingredients used to manufacture ultra-processed food are designed to create highly profitable, meaning low cost and long shelf life, heavily marketed, convenient, meaning ready to consume, and hyper-palatable replacements for freshly prepared dishes. To be clear, their goal is to capture a greater share of the greater than $8 trillion global food market. To facilitate this takeover, these wealthy corporations funded research in the 70s and 80s to show us that natural occurring sugars and fats and carbohydrates, which our bodies have evolved to digest and absorb, were the cause of obesity and diabetes. It's only now that unbiased scientific research is showing that we can not digest or absorb ultra-processed food, and that they are the source of these conditions. I highly recommend reading Chris Tolikin's 2023 New York Times bestseller, Ultra-Processed People. After reading it, you'll look at your food choices completely differently. Ultra-processed foods were state-sponsored inventions during times of war, when food was scarce. Napoleon III sponsored the invention of margarine, and during World War II, Crisco was invented. Both products take basic ingredients like water and vegetable oil, and then expose them to a process called hydrogenation, which introduces hydrogen gas at high pressures to change molecular structure of the original ingredients to make products that function like butter and lard, respectively, with long shelf life at room temperature at a lower cost than their real food precursors. Our bodies don't recognize ultra-processed foods, so they don't trigger the hormones that tell us we're full. And while enticing flavor enhancers make us just want to keep eating, evidence shows that we consume many more calories when eating hyperpalatable, ultra-processed food than we had in our prior diets. Just think about how many high-calorie energy bars you can eat at one time. These ultra-processed corporations manipulate our food system. I'll start again. These hyper corporations manipulate our food systems and environment by constantly marketing on all electronic media and buying up prime grocery shelf space to ensure that their ultra-processed foods get front and center display. They build more and more convenience stores that don't sell fresh food or healthy groceries, only ultra-processed food. Dollar General has a business plan of a store every 8 miles to sell ultra-processed food by becoming a prominent presence in our food environment. It's hard work to go to a supermarket and convenience store these days and find a product that isn't laden with ultra-processed components. Ultra-processed food has been associated with at least 12 diseases that have sprung to dominance in the same past 40 years that ultra-processed foods have been consumed by Americans. Diseases like obesity, cardiovascular disease, and type 2 diabetes. Lots of documentation now exists showing that the American diet, heavily laden with ultra-processed food, were adopted by countries and cities around the world, have experienced skyrocketing obesity rates. It's important to become aware that ultra-processed foods have environmental, cultural, social, and economic impacts as well. Ultra-processed foods are made from conventional farming commodity crops of genetically modified and herbicide-laden corn and soybeans. We've already discussed the environmental and health impacts of conventional farming techniques. Ultra-processed food also impacts the economy by removing the money from our local economy that we would have spent on nutritious whole foods and replacing fresh, nutritious foods in our diet with ultra-processed food that does serious harm to our health. We can start now by reading the ingredient labels on our food purchases. If it contains ingredients you wouldn't find in your kitchen, like high fructose corn syrup, gums, flavorings, then you've got ultra-processed food in your hand. We can exert our independence from the corporate food control of our food system and how it impacts the environment by shunning ultra-processed food. Working towards a whole food, plant-based diet is better for the environment and our health. If you want further justification to spend a little more on fresh, nutritious food, Tompkins Food Future Project discovered folks eating poor nutritional diet paid $1,800 more per year in health care in 2022 than those eating an adequate, nutritious diet. That additional cost is, of course, much higher today. Lastly, I'd like to talk about our food environment and the way we eat. Food environment is a physical, which includes the barrage of advertisements, economic, political, social, and cultural context that affects what we buy, the number and complexity of preparation steps we need to use, where we eat, and with whom. Food environments have a greater effect on what we eat than any of the other things I've talked about today. In Tompkins County, our local food environment is dominated by Wegmans and chain restaurants, relentless food advertising and of ultra-processed foods, and social pressure to be on the go and eat on the run. So we go to Wegmans for the convenience of one-stop shopping, and we make food choices, and we go to chain restaurants for consistent experience and expectations. And we make food choices to save time, like grab and go, quick warm up in the microwave, or products combined separately in a box, so you boil the pasta or the rice, then nuke the contents that don't need refrigeration like real food, then combine and serve. So B. Wilson, author of the book, The Way We Eat Now, makes the point that humans have sourced their food for centuries of families working together. So gathering, peeling, cooking, mixing, baking, setting the table, all chores shared by the family. And then the family sits down to eat together. With today's food environment, we often eat in solitude, in our cars, while multitasking. The way we eat is our choice. All aspects of gathering, preparing, and eating food are opportunities to build and strengthen relationships. We can make this community building food experience a priority. Further to food experience, in Ithaca we have many restaurants that proudly prepare entrees from local organic producers. So look for them. If you're considering learning more about food choices, I highly recommend listening to the podcast called Food Sleuth Radio. It's by Melinda Hamelgarn, and her tagline is connecting the dots between food, health, and agriculture. The food system plan identifies 8 actions each of us can take every day with our food choices to create a local, resilient, equitable, and healthy food system. And they are: eat for your health, eat for planetary health, eat to reduce food waste, eat for equity, eat for our local economy, build a food budget that aligns with your values, engage with local and national food advocacy efforts, and learn about the food system. Each of us has the power to take control. I hope I made the case today that food choices are a source of power to move into a better world and live into our values. Practice resistance to the corporate food system. And thank you for joining me.
I invite us to rise and body your spirit, hymn 121.
We'll build
closing words are from L.M. Alcott. Far away in the sunshine are my highest aspirations. I may not reach them, but I can look up and see their beauty. Believe in them and try to follow where they lead. extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Our service has ended. Let our true service now begin. Go in peace.